How are you guys doing? So, what is MetaKeep? What are we doing here? So, when we started working with Solana several months ago, and when we were starting, the thesis was, can we put together a set of really powerful technologies so that we can build a comprehensive gaming solution that lifts and shifts the entire gaming industry from Web 2 to Web 3 literally overnight with the best of Web 3. That includes non-custody, that includes payments, settlements, everything, marketplaces, peer-to-peer trading. And working with GameShift that was announced a couple of days ago, we were able to transformationally do that. And we were invited to come present to us, everyone here, on the underlying technology behind how is it that we are exceeding onboarding metrics unprecedentedly. So what is MetaKeep? We are building the invisible infrastructure behind applications and infrastructure that work on blockchain, that are powered by blockchain, that needs to bring and target the entirety of the internet to work on blockchain. And it happens to be sufficiently decentralized as well. And we do that with one line of code. Who am I? I'm Naga Samneni, one of the founders of MetaKeep. And prior to building MetaKeep, we built wallets for Facebook, for Meta, hence the name. We built wallets for fiat in WhatsApp Pay. We built wallets for DM in crypto, and a whole bunch of combinations. And we spent a lot. We learned a lot. And prior to that, I built the backend infrastructure for Twitter that works at 30 million requests a second, a scale that very few companies on the planet would deal with. And prior to that, I ended up building a peer-to-peer network for Microsoft that, it turns out, is used by government bodies like Department of Defense, Airbus, Boeing, and a lot of other people. So, backstory, we did that before. So we tried bringing the entire planet on blockchain, and then we were at DM. And to do that, we had unlimited resources of DM and WhatsApp to do that. And we were not able to do that. So the problem, as we thought, was in order to bring everybody to use blockchains, we need something called a wallet, right? And so we ended up building a really cool wallet. Now, the problem is no one was using it. No one cared. So we needed a killer use case for why people should be building on the blockchain. The obvious answer was payments. So let's build payments as a solution where people are able to send cross-border money transfers at basically no cost. So and that is a proven market. There's $800 billion of money that is transferred annually. So clearly, people find value in saving quite a bunch of money there. And it turns out no one cared to use that. So OK, distribution was the problem. So we ended up targeting that space. And we looked at what do we have that has a really great distribution for people who need money transfers across the world. WhatsApp. WhatsApp has a near ubiquitous presence in almost all the countries now. And that we thought was amazing. So we'll bundle a wallet into WhatsApp, and we'll have the entire planet using it, and people would love using it. And no one used it. And why did that happen? It's because it turns out that distribution was not the problem, because clearly, when we switched from crypto to fiat, we had attention from every regulator on the planet. And rightfully so, it's their job to protect the local markets. And we are successful with practically no marketing spend in India, Brazil, Mexico. And it's the crypto that we failed in. And why did we fail? So it was not the killer use case that is a problem. It was not the distribution that is a problem, and by elimination, it has to be one of the core technologies, which is wallet, that is a problem. And it turns out wallet is the problem. In fact, the problem is that there is a need for a usable wallet in this space. There is a need for an invisible wallet in this space. Speaking of which, here's the state of the art in the wallet business, where currently you have a hardware wallet as the gold standard. So if you have your crypto on it, it's pretty safe, except that not a lot of people in the world can afford it, probably the crowd here, but outside of that, pretty abysmal adoption, because it costs as much as someone's a month's salary to buy a hardware wallet. Now, you have a pretty phenomenal products that people have built that act as an extension, that acts as an application that you download for free, and that is the app-based wallets and the extension-based wallets. Now, those end up having, it turns out, 0.3% adoption rate, which is what we were tracking. Like, you need to install something new in order to get onboarded to Web3, in order to use Web3. So for uninitiated users who don't want to lose seed phrases, passwords, generally people go towards a full custodied solution like Coinbase, Binance, and for most people that is pretty okay. I mean, they have custody risk and things might blow up and you would lose money, but odds are your money is better off in the hands of professionals who have much higher safeguarding standards than your seed phrases that you're storing on a piece of paper. So that's not the solution that we need. So there is a second class that people have reinvented, that is password or app code-based wallets that are built into the products that you use. So folks like Reddit did that. And the adoption rate has been about 1%. So the news and media has been amazing reception, has seen an amazing reception when Reddit has onboarded 3.5 million, 4 million people onto blockchain. But it turns out that's 1% of the 400 million active users that Reddit has monthly. So that doesn't work. So the second best thing now we have is people have done social login-based mechanism. And that achieves near Web 2 level equivalency in terms of onboarding people, because you just, if you have a Google account, you single sign on, you get onto it. Now it turns out you get 60% adoption rate to 75% adoption rate, and that's basically the standard metric in the Web 2 space. So if you're doing that, you're doing good. In the first iteration of it, some of the popular name brands, they gave up on security, and they still do give up on security, but the understanding is that a disappointed user is better to have than not having a user, and so that's why that's the assumption that they ran with. But fortunately, people have iterated on it, and now we have much higher security standards with the same adoption rate, which is the user login, social login. Now, if I were to go back and redo what I did, the perfect solution, if you will, would get every single person with WhatsApp adoption who has a WhatsApp app on their phone automatically have a wallet. That would be my dream come true. Now, that would be what 100% adoption, if you will, would look like. Now that I'm making wishes, I might as well wish that I would have a security model that is much stronger than having a hardware wallet. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, it turns out now you can. That is what you can achieve. That is what GameShift achieves. That is what every single application and infrastructure can achieve, building together with MetaKeep. And by the way, it is not a competing solution. It's not you have this solution, everything other thing, people have to more of it. No, it's the underlying infrastructure that lifts the entirety of all the other solutions into the top right corner. That's the beauty of it. So MetaKeep is not a consumer-facing application. It's not something that people download. It's something that people have. That's what 100% adoption look like. So in theory, if we were to somehow achieve like this 100% adoption, what does it look like? This would mean that every person on the planet is now on-chain, right? That's what 100% means. And that would mean in one line of code. And that would mean that because of the fact that every dialogue that you showcase the user, there is a drop-off, that would mean that there is no user interaction at all. That's what it should be to achieve 100% on-ramp. And that's what it is. We have one API call, and this is literally the API call straight off our docs. And the input is a user ID, and you get back a wallet. And that's it. For every user with an email address on the planet, they now have a self-custodial wallet that they can uniquely own and control exclusively with one API. And here's what it looks like. no user interaction. It's just a backend call made from your service to our backend, taking the email address of your existing user as an input. And we take phone numbers and anything that the user would prefer. And that's it. You're now having a non-custodial wallet across all chains. And nobody, not the developer, not MetaKeep, not anybody, have access to the user's private keys. And this means that every game that has ever been built can now be on-chain. And that means that every ticketing company is now on-chain, because there is nothing that the user has to do to get on-chain. And that means that every financial services company, every bank account, every platform, every Venmo account is now on-chain. Every loyalty program that already exists, that already is out there, is now on-chain. And 1 out of 2 persons are now on-chain, because the number of people with email addresses, 4.3 billion people, are now on-chain without them even having to click one single button. And that means the entire planet will soon be on-chain. This is the example of an award-winning ticketing company building with MetaKeep. This is literally Web 2 level user experience, but running fully decentralized on blockchain. You pick a ticket that you want, you browse through that ticket, and that's it. You find an event that you like. Once you're satisfied with the class of the ticket that you want, you just buy it. Enter your credit card, and that's it. You just bought a ticket. And the NFT is the ticket. It's not a copy of the ticket. It's not a memorabilia. It is the whole ticket. Now, you can do everything that you can do with blockchains, which is listing it on secondary market rates, eliminate fraud entirely. It is just Web 2. For an uninitiated user, it is Web 2. What blockchain are you talking about? But no holding of Solana tokens, no paying for gas fees, no key management. You can send your ticket to your friend just like you would a PDF. That's what 100% looks like. So every ticketing company on the planet should now be on-chain, because it turns out that's what the event organizers are asking for. It's no longer a fancy solution that a bunch of nerds would love to see that, hey, can we have NFT-based ticketing? It turns out it is now mainstream. Event organizers are actually asking for it, and if you don't have a solution, you're just basically not an option that they would consider anymore. And boy, have we patented it. We have multiple patents pending in over 100 key jurisdictions, but we are democratizing everything that we are having to lift the entire ecosystem of wallets, wallet as a service providers, loyalty programs, gaming infrastructures, blockchains, to the next innovation to bring things to mainstream. And we do that at a scale that is unprecedented. Now, the question is, now that we solved the single biggest pain point in onboarding, which is onboarding, what is it that you're going to build? Let's switch up the gears a little bit. Let's talk about security. What we have achieved is full self-custody. And how did we achieve that? We provision a hardware wallet in the cloud every single time we see a user's email address for the first time. And multi-tenancy of cryptographic processors is what allows us to scale at a fraction of the cost of a regular hardware wallet. And it is sufficiently decentralized. And as a matter of fact, I'm proud to announce that we make more money than it costs us to run the infrastructure. So in theory, this will run in perpetuity. And in fact, we don't need to be the ones maintaining it going forward. You can have one of the keys, the master firmware keys that control it, so that no updates happen without a global consensus. And the keys are fully recoverable. If the loser, life happens. And when things fall apart, and if you can convince the Council of Guardians, they will have to physically vote with their security keys. So it is easier to launch a nuclear strike than to recover a key, but it is a possibility if the user has sufficiently proved that they are who they say they are. And it's durable for 120 years minimum. How about that? And the best part is we're working with insurance providers to bring unprecedented FDIC-inspired insurance policies that back you if we ever fail. Now, it's one thing to promise that this is what we have and this is what we could do, but to getting a third party whose job is to ensure that they don't end up writing a check to back us, now that's something. And speaking of scale, if we bring this innovation to the market at a price that is basically astronomical, there's few people that it's going to basically help. And it's not really innovating in this space, and we should basically be out of business. We can do 15 million times cheaper than users having a hardware wallet like Ledger. And we offer 120-year durability built in. Now, that's what we do at a fraction of a penny. That it is unprecedented, which allows you to have your existing business models of wallets and wallet-as-a-service infrastructure and still upgrade with the infrastructure that we are building. Every pricing that you're seeing so far remains the same. It's a fraction of the cost. And we are powering Game Shift by Solana Labs today. Do sign up for the beta. And we are also powering award-winning ticketing companies. We are powering consumer wallets. We are powering marketplace infrastructures, gaming companies, real-world asset tokenization companies, financial technology companies. Basically, anything everyone is trying to explore a use case for a blockchain, we now make that possible with zero risk, zero learning curve, and battle-tested at scale. We served already millions of queries a day for some of our customers who demand real-world, real-time performance. Imagine a horde of people trying to get into an auditorium because a concert is about to start. You don't want to be keeping them waiting in order to sign a transaction. Today, we serve companies who are .xyz, Web3 native companies, .com, who are Web2 companies building Web3-powered architect infrastructure, enterprise organizations, Fortune 5000 companies, and .govs, government organizations. And it turns out blockchain is of strategic interest to governments, not just in the CBDC space, but it is more of a data security and integrity at this point. So what can you build with MetaKeep? You can build unbreakable, composable infrastructure for the products and infrastructure that power gaming, ticketing, financial services, literally everything that you can think about today. You can lift and shift your target audience and achieve maximum ROI possible for your marketing spend. So if you're not using this, you're literally losing money. And raving reviews from people that we had the privilege to work with. Easiest integration, exhaustive documentation, our team always being available for you if you need any onboarding support. And converting onboarding that previously takes hours or months to minutes. Our fastest integration time, I'm proud to say, it has been 15 minutes. And that's taking a product that is completely Web2 to getting into Web3. Because there's literally one API code that the API that you need to integrate. So in summary, what we have built is this powerful infrastructure that just basically goes out of your, it stays out of your way. The integration basically slaps on anything that you're currently building. And it works. And if tomorrow you decide that, hey, blockchain is not the thing for me, remove it. It's one API call. We are super excited to announce that we are now generally available on Solana starting today. Thanks so much.